Today is a super exciting day for us here. We've got combat veteran, recon Marine, actor, model, fitness guru, martial arts expert, veteran advocate, entrepreneur, and conservationist, the wild man, Rudy Reyes. Welcome, brother, to Boise,
Yes,
Idaho.
thank you so much, Bryan. Thank you so much for everybody putting this together and bringing me out here. It's so wild. I've not changed at all, huh? Still 100
Yeah, not
miles
at
an
all.
hour, hair on fire. But with the resume, what's so rad and transformational for me is that soon I will be known as a conservationist. And I think as veterans, as warrior veterans, what we loved the most was our team and the platoon and the mission. And in lieu of that, no matter how successful we want to feel or seem to show others, without that mission that's built on bonds of brotherhood, on passion and dedication, discipline, and then training and then deployment. Without that freaking collective warrior spirit that we got in the Marine Corps and the Army, the other services, no matter what, we're not really happy. And it's conservation for me, which really blew me away because it seems kind of a 180 from the war arts that we have honed our whole lives. It's conservation that's brought me back to the military, and I love it.
We can't wait to get into that. What blew my mind is when I thought back about how long I've known you.
Yes.
I've known you over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, we were both young recondos
For
running
sure.
around in Recon Company before it was a battalion.
Recon Company back
and
when
we were shaped by the same guys.
Yes, we
molded
were.
by the same guys. We had no equipment, no training money, no bullets, no ammo. We had nothing but our minds, our bodies, our discipline, and we trained harder than I think we've ever trained before.
I agree, brother. If you recall, this brings back a memory. You know, AJ Hull just retired from MARSOC as a sergeant major. And AJ was, when he came to Recon Company, he came as a sergeant from the drill field, from snipers. He'd already been to Ranger School and still put on a rope and still got thrashed by me, Lance Cooley. I remember when I first got to his team, he would take us down to the football field, and we would practice full mission essential gear and heavy rucks, IA drills. We did not have ammunition. We did butter jam, changing magazines, throwing smoke, and had me out of MRE cardboard make a copy of a claymore and wire for a time fuse. So we went so far to even put in and create our own cardboard models, mock-ups of claymore. So we did everything right with no money. And it's those building blocks and it's that discipline that carried us over and gave us eventually MARSOC. These key leaders, remember, because we were on the mule with Captain Dill and Tom Johnson, and when the towers were hit, we went straight into fight in Afghanistan, and boy, put Recon on the map because we were fighting for General Mattis. And then the next thing, we have the invasion in 2003, put Recon on the map again. Wait a second, big SOC, and wait a second, tiers. How are these guys with very little on paper as far as money, equipment, and assets? How are they freaking carrying the day time and time again? So that's what later would become MARSOC, and I just have so much pride for it.
Well, we both grew up together with the same mindset, and to reconnect 20 years later here in all places, Boise, Idaho, man. So great to have you here. I found this little gem while I was preparing Recon Marines and snipers to go into Iraq. And we're going to get into your Iraq experiences, multiple time deployer to Iraq in just a little bit. But I know that there were a lot of elements in your life. I knew you when you were a young recondo, and there were elements in your life that brought you to the Marine Corps. You were in need of a family. You were in need of camaraderie and a place where you could really hone all of what you had grown up doing and channel into something.
Yes.
Your childhood was not an easy one. So let's
Sure.
talk a little bit about your upbringing, and then what kind of transpired in bringing you to the Marine Corps.
And Brian, to preface, my childhood was challenging and hard. I say it was challenging and hard for an American because all three of us here have been in really really poor and war torn conditions, and we've seen what orphans go through there. We see what kids go through even with their parents there. Um, I got the golden lottery ticket. I was born in the United States of America. Uh, every child has a chance here, no matter what. It's not fair, but you got a chance. We know we've been in places in northern Africa and throughout the Middle East, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Far East. No matter what, those kids ain't got a chance. So let us embrace that first. But um, I look at the positives. I had a mother who was from a poor socioeconomic on the border of Texas and Mexico, and my biological father, his last name is De La Yata. He was a Marine as well, but he came from a sophisticated family from Mexico. He was Spanish. That's why I look European. Um, my mother was from a low class family, and it was very caste oriented then. And he didn't want nothing to do with Norma Quintanilla. And the man I call my father, Rudy Reyes Sr., who was a devil dog. I think he was maybe a PFC at the time, getting ready to ship out to Vietnam. Uh, he was in love with my mother and uh, proposed marriage and didn't care that she had a child in her stomach already from somebody else. Did not care. And that's the man that gave me his name. When I first learned to draw at 5 years old, the very first portrait I ever drew was a portrait of my father and his dress blues. And, uh, and he imprinted me with a few things very early on because I only had him for 3 years before they got a divorce. And then I only had him one more year after that till I was 18. But he imprinted on me two things that a man must never be: selfish and greedy. Selfish and greedy. It was, um, it's a black mark against your character and against the true measure of a man. The other thing he taught me was the strength of my good fortune is that I can share it with my two little brothers and prepare them for what's next. And with those things, carved a path of athletics and heroism. I started reading comic books, and my daddy took me to see the Bruce Lee films at the drive-ins, and then I saw Rocky Balboa with him, Rocky, the first one, at the theaters, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And my dad, being now a law enforcement officer after Vietnam, uh, he was always reading comic books because they read comic books back in the day, when they were in the Marine Corps, and I was obsessed with heroism and being strong and fit. And my dad, I mean, this is way before CrossFit and all this hoo-yah stuff. My dad had an ab wheel. Speaking of which, you ever first sergeant? He was Gunny Smith then, first sergeant Smith. He had that hoopty one. He made that hoopty one out of training wheels.
Yeah,
He had a piece of metal here and a piece of metal here, taped them together. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. When you want to get hard and when you want to get strong, where there's a will, there's a way. My daddy had a pull-up bar and he had some dumbbells, and so I was obsessed with getting better and being stronger. The family fell apart, very poor. Looking back, my dad probably had severe PTSD, so he was a workaholic and an alcoholic. But God, I love him so much. Now my mother, she just had been defeated so long ago that she was in a reactive state of mind. Now, I grew up on welfare, and it's funny now that I'm older and I'm involved really on a macroeconomic scale, global economics, and also I understand human nature. Anybody that falls into a reactive state, it's so easy to then fall into a victim state. And there is no possibilities going forward when you are in a victim state. So my brothers and I were given to many different relatives and then sometimes foster care. There's immense abuse. You can imagine what happens to kids when there's no adults looking out for them. And I went through it, but it gave me the strength. I had to fight the bullies and lose a lot because I was small. Then my teeth got really, really rotten. I was very sick. So I was weak. I'd probably be bigger, brother, if I would have had if I would have had proper nutrition. However, maybe I would not have the warrior spirit.
Yeah, right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Uh, I was sexually abused, and when I was little, like maybe 10 or 11, and that was so fucking scary. But immediately the gene turned on back to Rudy Reyes Sr. Like, I must protect my brothers and empower them for what's coming next. So immediately I rallied and I grabbed Michael and Caesar and I put them underneath the coffee table. And I laid by them underneath the coffee table to protect them. And I made them work out with me every single day, going across the street to the park. And we did gymnastics and I pushed them. And looking back, we had worms, my man. We had worms in our stomach. They were freaking falling out of our ass. And we were really sick. Didn't care. We ended up getting hepatitis. Well, all three of us almost died. Hepatitis from living in filth, you know.
Were you the older brother?
I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest. And the Omaha Home for Boys saved me. My mother was in danger of losing her welfare, so she came and I thought rescued us from South Texas, but instead she put us in another state in Nebraska where the records have a hard time getting back. So she was claiming us for welfare my entire life while we're in another state and in a gladiator academy. But I was so freaking thankful that now we had antibiotics, we had food, we had a weight pile, we had a wrestling room, I had a wrestling coach, and I thrived. I thrived with the discipline and I thrived with the structure, and you had to learn to fight and fight hard. I'm naturally very sensitive and sweet person, but they taught me the score very quickly. Matter of fact, brother, when I first met your platoon, I just checked into Recon Company, and then I went immediately over, still in green on green, doing some pull-ups, and then First Sergeant Smith called me out onto the freaking blacktop of basketball court, and y'all were doing hand-to-hand with the Samsu guy.
Yeah.
They didn't know I was a freaking world champ kickboxer, and I started dumping those guys, so I had to turn it on, and I learned that very early, and the Marine Corps for sure galvanized it to another level. I would not be who I am without it. I wonder if this hero's journey, like Campbell-esque hero's journey, it must have been written. It must have needed to happen, because it seems that everything happened the right way to give me a little bit more confidence, a little bit more skill. A little bit more confidence, a little bit more skill. You told me that when you first showed up to the unit, immediately pre-scuba, same. I did the same thing, except I grew up in Nebraska and in Missouri and in Texas. There's no ocean there.
Yeah,
Never
right.
had fins on. I'd been to ARS. I swear when I first started finning, and it was in antiseptic conditions. It's in Key West because I was in winter class. I swear I was finning backwards. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. You can imagine how hard I was working.
Yeah.
And I was going nowhere. So I had to be super fast in all the runs. That gave me the confidence to become a scout swimmer. Then after combat diver, then CWSS, then McQuist. And it just kept layering and layering and layering because of mentorship, leadership, and I don't know any program that has better periods of instruction than the United States Marine Corps. They quickly molded me into an asset. In 3 years, they molded me into a real asset. And the proof is in the pudding. Look how good our boys are doing now.
So what was your inspiration for joining the Marine Corps? How did you get introduced to the military with that childhood? That you probably weren't around it every day. So what inspired you to join?
Well, I'll tell you what inspired me. Freaking First Blood.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Seeing this man surviving on his own in wilderness and taking life on in his own framework. And of course, Stallone modeled physical fitness, physical strength and dominance. And I was in love with that freaking knife dog. The freaking compass and sewing himself up. Little did we know we would do all this hoo-yah shit later, right? And it was him initially. And then I saw Platoon. And I later saw Platoon with my dad after I was kickboxing and you know, seeing my dad get misty-eyed. And but something about Platoon, I think I'd already experienced man's dual nature of good and evil as a kid, and it was shown in a way that there is hope through war and in war to access your humanity in a way that nothing else can. So those are the two things that really, really drove it home. And I'll tell you, I I I saw Full Metal Jacket, but it was too hard. There was no humanity in it, and it made me upset and sad. But Platoon gave me hope. And then, oh my gosh! And then when I saw freaking Stallone and Rambo 3, sliced and diced, just full riding horses and freaking gunning down Hind 1 helicopters, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be that guy.
Yeah,
so how old were you when you joined up?
I joined at 26.
Really? You had an art scholarship prior to that.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I'm an illustrator. I still draw on paint too.
Yeah, right.
You know, I was an illustrator. I'm a sensitive guy, man, and I drew comic books my whole life. And then I started painting, and I was wrestling and running track. But it was art and painting that was at that time most transformational. Now it's interesting with a reflection. Now that you mention it, I think this is why I love entertainment and speaking and media. Now it's my new art. Because it has the chance for transformation. But I had to get boiled back into the warrior essence. So I couldn't take the scholarship out of ethics. I had a full ride scholarship to the Kansas City Art Institute, which is like a $20,000 a year school. You know, it's private. And our teachers are from all over the world. It's comparable to Parsons. Yeah. But I was not allowed to let my little brothers live in the barracks or the dorms. The hood conditions that we were living at that time, because crack was on the street and it was a really poor economy. This is why President Bush Sr. was not reelected, because of the economy. There was just no money. So Michael and Caesar and I were washing dishes and bussing tables, but they wouldn't let them stay with me. And they'd have to, I don't know what, go back to the boys' home. And I said, no, I can't do that. So I started doing martial arts instead. And that was an outlet for me and still gave me street skills to protect myself. I got heavy with Zen Buddhism. That got me very peaceful and very centered, but it also made me an incredible fighter because there was no attachment. I just thought faster and drilled faster and did everything much faster because there was no attachments to anything. I was outside of myself, flow state, like when we're in heavy combat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Out of body kind of experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was those ethics that made me join the Marine Corps, because boots on the ground went into Kosovo. I said, ethically, it's not right for any other young man to go fight if I'm not doing my part. I'd never thought about using freaking weapon systems or anything like that. I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. Joined as an infantry cat, and God just wrote it, man. I had to make my way to Recon and see you guys and get inspired and get trained.
So you made that very natural progression from art school to the Recon Marines.
Kind of, yeah. Well, no, it shocked the living shit out of me. Boot camp. Anybody who says boot camp's easy, they were not honor grad.
And you were 26,
I was
right?
26.
Yeah, because we came in about the same time.
Yeah, so I was like, this is insane, and it makes no fucking sense. And everything I did failed, and I was always punished, and I was starved to death. Actually, they trained me so good. Deprive your food, deprive your sleep. You're going to really get nervous system level training, and you will be instant and willing obedience to orders, and that's what saves the day. Yes, it was immense, and I was the honor grad in Ironman, and then same in SOI, and got hooked up on Camp Guard at Horno. And if you don't know, Horno is the most belt-fed Marine Corps freaking screaming high and tight freaking place. I mean, it is like,
it's the home of the grunts.
It is, West Coast. Dog. Yeah. It is, and they're squared away.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
I worked Camp Guard there and hating life. Hadn't seen my wife in a long time. Figured, well, I guess it's another 4 years of this. And Recon, Big Frog, Sparks, and Dill, and First Sergeant Smith came by to run the freaking inn, Doc. And my corporal of the guard, so proud that I was always squared away and worked hard, put my name in the hat to come try out. No contract, no nothing back there. Back then, you know. So there you go, bro.
So September 11th, you're out with the 15th MU. So you're in it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can you just describe what happened after September 11th and how you kind of kicked off your
and
fighting?
You were abreast of this too because of Captain Dill and everybody.
Yeah, and we were just coming off deployment. We had just passed ships.
That's right. First platoon and second platoon. And their platoon was prestigious. This is part of the reason what made our platoon prestigious. We competed against everything. We competed on
we crushed you guys and everything.
You guys, well, you definitely developed freaking warrior spirit in us.
We could kind of do a little competition after this, maybe a little run or something.
I'll lose, man. I've been working on dad bod. He's been working on Rudy bod.
Once and for all right here.
Yes, and you know what? We're all stronger by our elements together. Genghis Khan said, showed his sons, took an arrow, snap, says, this is how you are by yourself, but sons together, he took 5 and couldn't break it. And that's
I think he had about 1 million sons too, right?
Yeah, he did.
We're all related.
Isn't it like 30% of the population has direct lineage to Genghis? Our platoons competed from within, teams competed against within, and then as a platoon, other platoons. We were always competing on who did better comm procedures and who made every comm shot and everybody's PFT. I mean, everything was a competition. I couldn't have been better taught for the rest of the world than coming to Recon. Everything's a competition, and you must locate, close with, and destroy in everything that you do. Is it harsh? Is it big boy rules? Hell yeah. And that is the beauty about Recon too. It's not this massive amorphous thing. It's only you and your other 19 or 20 guys, and you all count on each other. We were rocking and rolling in Darwin. I'd already been in Hawaii, and we were preparing to do a Timor mission, and man, I was such a square back then, y'all. This is way before my rock star times and
you were super quiet, humble, zen, and
totally doing yoga and tai chi and drawing pictures. I was married. I didn't ever drink.
You were vegetarian.
Yeah, I was very.
How did you fit in? That is it's truly
the only place I could have. The only place I could have fit in, brother, was Recon. The only place.
Amongst the other eccentric dogs,
yeah,
they were quite eccentric too. Everybody either played guitar or painted or did triathlon. Everybody was eccentric and extreme, and it was all supported.
Yep.
As long as you stayed very physically, mentally hard.
And you did your job.
And we did. We thrived on it. All the fellas went out into town into Darwin to drink. What did I do? Stayed on the mess deck, and I would draw $10 illustrations for tattoos for the grunts or whoever. So I could make my little $10 call card to call my wife Sheree.
Yeah.
I mean, just a nerd, square. And as I was doing that, I had been watching The Siege. Do you remember with with Denzel Washington about New York being sieged by Muslim fundamentalists and extremists? And then the television was showing the first tower being hit. I thought it was the movie. I'm still drawing my little Predator tattoo for some freaking artillery guy, and in my flight suit. Those of us who know what's up. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody else still in their cami sleeves.
I thought you would have been in your silkies out there getting some sun,
know what?
Man.
We did have some standards on the mess deck, but trust me, I did push them. And then I started hearing people like coming up in arms a little bit. And then I look up again and I think, then this must be Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. Even though it's obvious it's the Twin Towers. But I can't put it together because it's so foreign to me. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And then when the second plane hit, the freaking sirens and the lights are going off on the ship, everybody's being recalled. And I think it was Croninger that grabbed me first. It was me and Emilio Ramirez up on the mess deck. And shit, I remember just going down ladder wells and then, Captain Dill like freaking getting together orders and getting crypto ready for the radios, and then going to some part of the well deck to draw a bunch of ammunition and bang, and everything was happening so fast. And then we're shooting on the flight deck and then practicing inserting from the 7th deck, 8th deck of the ship. They shut down the elevator, and we fast drove up and over and over down that freaking elevator shaft just to prep for an insert. It was wild times. I was so busy I don't remember much except always packing and repacking and unpacking rucks and doing tons of in triplicate acetate layovers for our maps and on-call targets and primary.
Yeah, it was still old school.
It was
back
old school.
then.
I mean, it was analog, but we
Yeah.
did it, and that was my thing. 3 of my 5 teammates were all Scout snipers, and I was the best illustrator, so I was in charge of always doing the overlays and packing AJ Hull's rock. I mean, because he was in is it called R2P2? The rapid
the
plan?
planning process.
He was, he'd had maybe 4 hours to plan, put a PowerPoint together, and then go brief. And this is real world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was rad. But man, can you imagine? I mean, we can imagine now, but looking back, again, testament to the whole culture that we were prepared to do anything in a down and dirty way. We rock and rolled in Pakistan first. I was doing with Johnny Grant and a bunch of cats, AJ Hull, Sean Patrick, who just retired as well. We were doing counter recon and counter sniper there, and that's the first time I'd been in Abu Dhabi land. That's what one of my senior grunts who had been in the Middle East before. We were on a counter recon patrol, real world, in Pakistan, through their marshes and sewers. And this is my first combat mission. And when we've set into this open sewer, feces and urine and just a sewer, but there's so much tangled veg, nobody wants to be in there. And this is the backbone of recon patrolling, right? When you do a patrol base, you're in the worst place possible. Nobody will go there. And we got in a tight 360 and took a knee. And then that's the first time I heard the Muslim call to prayer. And I was like, man, I'm far from home.
Yeah, that's an eerie sound.
Yes.
For the first time.
And then you're hearing the roosters and then the jackasses and mules braying, and it's just wild, man. And then we prepped, got all of our Air Force assets and Army assets and everybody else together and British assets. The Aussie SAS did so good with us too. And we pushed from Pakistan into Afghanistan and took what would later be called Camp Rhino.
Yep.
And I'll show you some pictures later. All it is a couple of towers, and it was an opium factory or processing factory with bullet holes all over it. That's what it was. And we were running ops out of there. And then like these cool dudes that look like me came in like a couple weeks later, look like me now.
We got this.
Yeah, and it was Dev, and they had I remember like, wow, I've never seen such cool hiking boots in my life. And that was when I first met some people from the agency, and they were guys like us now, our age, and hot weapon systems, and it was just surreal. But I was so busy. And we were using our sniper assets and CAS and doing interdictions. That like 10 months flew by, and now we're back home. Remember you guys all congratulating us coming back home. And then I did a parade. And then you all knew high up that we were preparing for Iraq. Like Captain Dill just left, Eric Dill just left. And I was hearing some freaking scuttlebutt about Iraq because I just started becoming an instructor. I was going to have some time with my wife for the first time. Marine Corps don't give a shit about wives. Let me tell you about that.
I know that all too well.
Yeah. So I called ECD. That's what I call Eric Dill. ECD, East Coast Destruction. That's his rap name, because he loves the beasties. I do too. I called him. And he's like, Rudy, calm down. We're not going to Iraq Now, if you start getting issued mop suits and gas, sure enough, next week, we're getting mop training, you mop suits. We're all in the chamber. I'm like, oh, we're going to Iraq. Anyway, that's how it started rolling out, It was wild times. To me, it feels like yesterday. But shit, that was, 19 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
18, 19 years ago, like yesterday. But yeah, still some of the best times.
So that Iraq deployment, really jumping ahead, led into your role in HBO's Generation Kill.
What I'm doing now really was a catalyst from what we really did in 2003.
Yeah.
And then I went back to fighting Fallujah and Ramadi, which changed me. And that really changed me. I guess by then I'd been in a leadership position so long And
And that was 05, 06 time frame, and
04,
bar was
05.
blowing up.
Yeah, 04, 05. I mean, I was eating chow with those cats, those undisciplined Blackwater guys. I was eating chow with them that morning, and they were strung up that afternoon while we were doing a blocking position for CAG. And when their little bird got blown right out of the sky above us, no offense, but CAG froze. Not fucking Recon. We lit it up with our machine guns. We had all our snipers up too, and we were just crushing the freaking Ville.
Yeah, Marine's dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was on. Yes, it was on, and it changes you. I was blessed to go work with the Green Berets, and I got chopped away to do a hunter-killer mission called Trojan Horse. So I looked like this. I was, I'm Latino, so I could pass as a Pakistani or a Turk, and I'd work in those places, and there were spies in the hard base. I'd done 2 expeditionary wars. I was not used to a hard base. It was a whole nother animal. We had ice cream when we came out of the damn field. It blew me away. And First Sergeant Bell was like, this is really bad for discipline, Sergeant Reyes. I like you keep your men disciplined and running and lifting weights, and it's a very good observation exercise you've got your men doing, Sergeant Reyes. Bell, Big Abu.
Yeah, Big Bell.
Everybody's so badass. All of us wanting some. Yes, all of us wanting some. But we got chopped away. 20 of us cats went to the Green Berets in Shark Base and were running stuff out of Shark Base in Ramadi. And that 7-8 months, I mean, it was overt and covert, day and night for 7 months straight. It gave me another gear. I already had a gear. I already had a freaking flywheel gear of perpetual motion from Recon. But now that deployment put a freaking turbo supercharger on it. That op tempo is what allowed me to get to quite a bit of success. Specifically when I got into film and television and stuff and media, and it gave me the power band to break into that success. But it's also what dismantled me ultimately, because I was addicted to that op tempo.
Yeah, and I saw that time and time again.
Oh, I'm sure. Now looking back,
we pushed you guys so hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been running for years at that point. Yep. So 3 combat deployments, and you're in some of the most intense combat that American forces have seen in
probably since Vietnam.
Decades. Absolutely.
Probably since Vietnam. Like Hue City style, what you guys are doing out there.
Yep, you guys were in intense urban combat, getting it on every day, gunfighting. And the intensity of that and running at such high levels of adrenaline.
For sure.
I saw manifest itself in crazy ways later on coming out of Afghanistan.
And how could we have known that then?
Because no idea.
We had no experience with it yet.
I had guys later on that FBI task force, the outlaw motorcycle gang task force, showed up in my office.
Oh, no kidding.
Showing me pictures of guys that had been young Recon Marines that were now running around MARSOC. They were in the unit, and they're showing me pictures, asking if I know these guys.
I think I know one of those guys. And he's had a hard time coming back, but he's cleaned up now, and he's his life on.
They needed adrenaline. They needed to push the envelope. It's the most addictive drug out there, I think, man.
It is completely. And we were not prepared. And we were already high octane to begin with.
So now you're supercharged.
Supercharged, man. And then add some hate and discontent on top of that. And then our brothers start getting killed too. Yeah. And then how about, and then we contract or we go up even to another unit. I mean, and we're searching for that op tempo. And then Iraq is completely imploded, and all of the blood, sweat, and tears, and the lives, and some of the lives that we had to freaking leave there too. I had some lovely Iraqi family that was paramount in my survival and helped me so much, and they were killed. All of the blood and all the treasure, and now nobody even talks about it or cares about it. I mean, it's a recipe for self-destruction. And that's what happened to me. And at first I thought it was only me, and I was very ashamed of myself and very angry at myself. And I kept trying to process, like, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? I found out, no, it's all of us in some way or another. All of us had to face that some way or another. And until we put all of that incredibly hard fought and knowledge created from blood sacrifice, until we put that into something positive in which we bring back the elements that made us great as servicemen and women. Till we do that, it's a time bomb.
Would you give up that experience though?
No, I needed it.
Would you change anything?
Well, no, I couldn't. Actually, looking back, I realized there's no way I could have done anything different, especially afterwards. I started drinking first to go to sleep. Now, remember, I was a Zen Buddhist. I mean, I only drank green tea. Look.
I remember going to a farewell party for one of the guys, and you were definitely the only guy
not drinking beer.
Yeah.
I was pouring beer.
Everyone else was crushing beer.
No, I was at your house. I was at your house.
That's right.
In Carlsbad. Yeah. And Cherie and I were there, and I was just like, I was drinking freaking green tea or whatever. I mean, now this is as bad as it gets, but dang, it's delicious. I started drinking to go to sleep. Oh my gosh. You all, do you know I used to I was a personal trainer and a kickboxing coach before I started contracting and before Generation Kill called me. I was lifting and training about 7-8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Man. Just to wear myself out to sleep.
Yeah.
And it still didn't work because we were used to, nothing compares to the 130 degrees and the freaking heavy pack and the sweat and the burn and the no sleep for 4 days. Nothing competes with that. So I kept trying harder. I was crushing my shoulders, my hips. I was always injured, but I was looking for something. And then I started drinking to go to sleep. And then when I got into film and television, that's when I was introduced to drugs, hard drugs. I mean, everybody was doing cocaine and some heroin too, or pills. And
what was the impact of all that on your relationship with Cherie? And I know things imploded.
They did. And you know what? I left Cherie midway through Fallujah. I left her in here and here.
Yeah.
I left everything. I couldn't exist in two places. It's like a physics conundrum. Two things cannot occupy the same space. And after Eric Cucker was wounded, my Recon brother, who's fallen through some hard times too, but now we just started talking again. We're trying to get him back in the light. He's doing some good work with his family. And we lost Eddie Wright was wounded horribly. He lost his arms, and their captain was killed, and freaking seeing those bodies hung up on the freaking bridge, and just the immense blood and rage and hate. I just had to leave the other world, and I knew, and I never came back. And Cherie saw it. She was in tears because she saw that the man she married is not that man anymore.
Yep.
And I think when I got heavy, and first the glory of media and such, think about what I was going through. I was thinking, at least I'm being validated.
Right.
At least the blood, sweat, and tears and everything that we've given up is being validated.
Yeah, there's a story being told. Yeah.
Yes, at least somebody's talking about us.
Yeah.
Because America wasn't talking about anything that had to do with what was happening in the Middle East at the time. And then when I started doing drugs, it completely numbed me from the bitter truth that nobody cared. And I think I enjoyed the pain because it's hard on your body doing hard drugs. I was still training and PTing all the time.
And being amped up,
yes,
and
completely
not exhausted, and not sleeping.
I think I was looking for that too, because I was mostly hard cocaine, like sometimes a month straight. I think it was to recreate, even physiologically,
the rush
and the pain of no sleep and no food.
Yep.
And ever since Recon, from the beginning, I've always had a little bit of an eating disorder because I was up late on watch with AJ Hall, and we were doing urban RNS, and I ate a little too much, and I just started fucking nodding off. He made me stand up for the rest of the fucking day, observing standing. So I said, Rudy Reyes, do not eat too much, right? And then it was galvanized again in the invasion of Iraq, and I was pushing myself, and my personal life was completely falling apart. Both my children I had when I was overseas. daughter's mother's magnificent and have an incredible relationship with her. And I think this is a karmic Zen Buddhist and God-like thing here. She's Hmong, and she came here as a refugee and didn't even know English, nothing here. Her family and her were rescued out of a prison camp, out of being on the run by some Green Berets. They still, on the holidays, watch the old videotapes of these Green Berets being honored, and one of them's missing his legs, and they're the few Hmong men that survived, because almost all the Hmong men are dead. They all fought for us in the CIA audience, if you don't know that, against the Khmer Rouge and against the Vietnamese. They believe that I'm their spirit. They look at my daughter as the golden child because I am the spirit of the men that rescued them, because they're pagan and they feel things like that. For that reason, I have an incredible supportive mother and her husband, Mike, who I just love and adore. That family supports me immensely because they're from the Vietnam War just as I am. They're from war just as I am.
Yeah.
And my...
but you lost those children at a point in time.
I did. I lost my son. Now, my son's mother is really intelligent, a doctor as well. Both of them doctors, both of them incredibly successful. But by the time my son came, and he's the love of my life, my son Dylan is the love of my life. He's my angel, and I haven't seen him in almost a year now. It's been I've been having to fight just for 1 hour at a time. But the family is, I think, wanting to make a new narrative, so I'm going to have to fight harder. And this is part of my drive to be successful now, and that I can go anywhere, anytime, and show up 100%. Because I had to go to court for almost a year. They threatened to put me in jail. I had to go through psychological and anger management classes. This was at my lowest point. And even my son was not enough. At that point, I was ready to give up. I was ready to kill myself.
And Hollywood had kind of turned on you a little bit too, or you turned on them, or however you want to look at it.
It wasn't a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And at least now I understand the relationship. I work great in film and television and media now because I know the relationship. I understand it's strictly business and it's not love. Now, when you find a few gems in that industry, which I have a few, God, it's the force multiplier. I got guys like Henry Alex Rubin, who I did the Marine Corps Super Bowl commercial. If you see that motivated man tap, I assistant directed that with Henry Alex Rubin. I just did another picture called Always Beside You. It'll be coming out this year with Jai Courtney. Frank Grillo's been there for me. Brian Callen's been there. I'm going to the Cult. They have a big concert at the Greek Saturday, and they're doing a fundraiser for Force Blue. Ian Asbury's been there. There are a few gems, but for the most part, it's strictly business. It's strictly business. At the time, I was looking at that industry to replace Recon, and it can't. So it was really confusing, Brian. It was real confusing. You can imagine, and there was no. Can you guys imagine? There was a time before Rudy Reyes that was the spearhead of media, and that we didn't have anybody to talk to about what I was going through.
Right.
There was nobody. I mean, the closest would have been Lee Marvin, who had passed away long ago. I mean, who could have talked to me about what I was going to be going through?
What you had been involved in, where you found yourself in Hollywood.
Yes. So, when you asked if I could do it over again, I don't think it would be possible because I would not have the skills and the confidence and the competence I do now. I had to have everything taken away again. And to hit a freaking... Like in physics, when things get so cold and atoms and molecules completely slow down, the next thing is explosion. And that's explosion. And that tidal wave is what started Force Blue. I've been on the comeback trail now for 3.5 years, and never stronger, never better, never happier. I needed that Papillon experience of being completely isolated and beat down to nothing to remember that I was not nothing.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you say before that what you experience today is a form of post-traumatic growth.
Yes.
So you are taking from your past, learning from those experiences, channeling it now in positive ways, overcoming whatever evil demons you faced once upon a time, and you're growing. You've grown in that experience, and you're living a life of growth every day now.
That's right.
And channeling that towards the veteran community.
Which
you're putting
I
it
love.
out there. Yeah.
Because we're attracted to that because that's our family.
That's right.
I would recommend anybody out there that's stuck or stagnant, or anybody that's afraid or not going in a space or at a pace that they really feel fulfilled at, and which a real great litmus test is when you wake up in the morning, when you look in the mirror, are you proud of that? Are you proud of that person? Are you fired up for the day? And when you go to sleep at night, do you look in that mirror and you say, you know what, right on, champ, we did it? Or do we say, you know, come on, man. If you're looking for how to start that freaking movement forward, positive, I have 4 pillars. Table leg, like this awesome table that we have here, very sturdy, very strong. 4 table legs, and they got to be the same size. They got to be balanced. The first is physical, mental, and spiritual wellness, fitness. You gotta get strong and fit because that builds self-esteem. With self-esteem, you can connect to source. The physical fitness first. Number 2, you need your community. You need your brothers, your sisters, your community. Whatever community that is. For us, we know what our community is. We need our community. Number 3 is Mother Nature. I need to be in the field. I need to be in the water. I need to be in the mountains. I cannot be stuck in 4 walls. I've never had a job since I've been out of the Marine Corps for this reason. Cannot stand it. And then the last one is a mission. The 4th one is a mission. The 4th table leg. You need all 4 in balance. With that, you can do anything.
Which is why I think you stay so event-driven in your life today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's a great term. Do you know I just heard that term from... He's a legend gunner, and he was a scout sniper and a recon man. I think he's just now retiring. His name may end with Ski or Kaczynski. Gosh, I just saw him at SHOT Show, and he works with Recon Sniper Foundation. Gunner, legend cat. His coin says, and this is genius, seek battle.
I love that.
Don't you?
Every day.
Seek battle. And then how he described me after Major or Lieutenant Colonel Dill described me to him. He said, Rudy Reyes, ECD said you're event-driven. So that was a thing of our culture back then. And I recommend to embrace that.
Yeah, you have to have something to strive towards.
Damn straight.
And if it's an event, great. Get after it, train, prep, make yourself event-driven so you're always pushing towards daylight.
Yes. Well, and you know, I use all these little iconic and archetypal imagery and sayings. I listen to Eric Thomas, magnificent motivational speaker and real deal. And then in Batman, that second Batman film, when Batman said that the night is always darkest just before the dawn, and the dawn's coming.
Yeah.
So tough childhood, pretty incredible military experience. Had some trouble after the military. You definitely put yourself on a path to pretty incredible things after going through all that. What are you up to now with Force Blue? Let's talk.
Yes.
Let's talk that.
Well, again, speaking to when you asked, would you do anything differently? I couldn't have started Force Blue unless I had been through all the highs and lows and the abandonment and the anger and the shame to do a course correction and rallying myself back up and think about what really is important and what has always driven me. And what drives me is my team and making a difference. I search every day to be relevant. And when I recognized my culture and everything around me was not doing anything to make me relevant, I created it. I created with Force Blue. And the first cat I called was Roger Sparks. The second was ECD, East Coast Destruction. He went to my first fundraiser in Dallas in his freaking tight blues. And then I asked Jeff Reeves, a SEAL brother of mine, and then Will Hinkson, Recon cat legend. Went to work for the agency as well. Now I'm doing CrossFit stuff. I said, well, if nothing exists to give me those 4 legs, those 4 table legs of physical fitness, brotherhood, Mother Nature, and mission, then I'll make one. And by God, that illumination happened because Jim Ritteroff and Keith Somm, my co-founders, they saw me on the streets while I was going through everything I was going through with Dylan. And I was strung out. I was worn out, and they asked me to come diving in Caymans. Now, we're combat divers, so we're always diving at night, and we got a ton of kit, and it's always very stressful because we got places to go and things to do and people to kill.
Not the beautiful blue ocean, man.
No,
Not
and the Caymans are stunning, incredible. So I go there for a week. I'm training every day. I'm having Mother Nature heal me. I'm feeling the pressure of the water, which holds me, and looking at these amazing fish and flora and fauna, and drinking rum. At one of the nights, my boys said, "Rudy, well, I'm so glad you're here because this is all going away." And I said, "What are you talking about?" Yes, not just because of climate change, but because of shipping lanes and because the cruise liners, all this is being drudged up, and there's disease happening, and no one's really doing anything about it. So I'm afraid that in another 50 years, it's going to be gone. And looking back, I was thinking about this just recently. Because of the strength that my father gave me about teaching me to protect my brothers and empower them, and then the Marine Corps, which is truly a band of brothers, my family, Marine Corps is my family, the veteran community is my family. I saw this whole ecosystem under there in danger of being destroyed. A whole families of fish and families of invertebrates, families of coral. And the same reason I went to go fight, because Kosovo was happening, is what stoked in me almost emotionally and spiritually. Like, I'm going to I'll die fighting for this. I'm serious. It was that, and it's because I was needing it since the Marine Corps too. Yeah. And
go to battle. What's that coin?
Yeah, seek battle.
Seek battle. You
and
got it.
shit,
There's
now
a battle to fight.
Yes, and now we find out with conservation and protecting these ecosystems, if we don't do it, then the human race is done in about 100 years. So I must fight it. I have no problem being in Washington, D.C. and freaking letting people know what's up. I have no problem beating on doors, talking to freaking Lockheed Martin or Boeing. Hey, listen up. We need $5 million. All right. Do you want this to go away? Or do you want us to go away, or do you want the world to go away? We'll go away with this $5 million so we can put my men to work, and all of our money goes right into teaching and training our guys to reconfigure their combat dive skills to science diver skills. The scientists do not work for free, brother. That's where our money goes. The Florida state government, because of Florida Reef Track, now we have money, and my men are paid to work for the next 3 years, and we're going other places too, but our schoolhouses still cost, and so I'm driven now in every way because I'm fighting a mission I believe in. It's a mission of virtue, and it's the best I've ever felt since the United States Marine Corps.
And you're giving a mission to all these guys like you that came from a special ops background, combat diving background. You've got SEALs, you've got Recon Marines, you got PJs, you got British Royal Marines. You're bringing them all together with a purpose, with a mission, so they can refocus themselves and seek battle.
For seeking battle, brother, it's so rad. And now imagine this too, all different generations. I got bros, like one of my homeboys. I won't say his last name. His name's Andy. Super cerebral. He looks kind of like that actor that was in. What's the actor that was in like Horrible Bosses, and he was in Meet the Millers?
I don't know.
You know,
you're asking the wrong guy.
Okay, well, he's a very all-American kind of guy, white guy, unassuming, one of the baddest tack peas in the business. He's done 7 deployments. He's only 30 years old. Hyper intelligent, genius level. Well, he's got his little, moat dog folding chair, right? That you take on deployment with you everywhere you go. At least you got a little chair. And an incredible girlfriend of mine. She's a legend, black belt, mixed martial art instructor in the Marine Corps, devil dog, Kelly DeSantis, dog handler, kick your head off. She was visiting us in the team house, and Jay and Tom and everybody at the team house in the Keys, and she's sitting in his little chair, right, his little deployment chair, and then nonchalantly, Andy on the other side over there says, do you know how many thousands of people I've killed sitting on that chair? Because I guess they just bring it on out. Oh, yeah. Sit down and be on the radio, just stacking air and just dropping bombs. Anyway, that's fucking Force Blue, brother. It's from times of war, power, and danger and sacrifice, now to a mission that is transcending into preserving, protecting, empowering, bringing our brothers back home by putting them back into service.
That's incredible. Yeah, the imagery of the reefs, just the disease that's coming through there, is what you have to see it to
Yes, it
believe it.
reminds me of what our villes that we fought in,
Yeah.
and cities that we fought in after we've been there, after Fallujah.
Yeah, destruction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now the good news is this. This is going to blow your mind. I don't know how much time we have, but this is real quick. I went back to the first place we started doing this triage work for this coral disease. The very first site, which we started 5 months ago. I had to go back and re-tag it. The treatments have worked so well. The coral has come back. Bright fish everywhere. And as Tom, my Green Beret brother who invaded Panama, we're all different generations, right?
Yeah.
But we're all still the same age. We're all still wearing our freaking our silkies, and we're all still throwing in a dip and getting after it. I'm re-tagging the area, and he's a big boy, about 6'3", 6'4", and I see a way larger shape than him behind him, and then another. Two of the largest eagle rays I've ever seen in my life, and they were so big I thought they were manta rays. They were 10-foot, 12-foot wingspan, and then reef sharks. It's because the coral has come back so strong, and all the little fish. It is now a cleaning station for the charismatic megafauna.
Man, that's
So it's working, and we need to make more Force Blue divers. So why I'm out there hitting the pavement and doing the commercials, and I'm very blessed that, Ellen DeGeneres, her company, A Good Company, has partnered with Force Blue for the Force Blue television series that's being worked. And we have something else, one of the major athletic businesses. I can't say it now, but we are getting that forward momentum to quantum space, but we need all the money we can get. So anybody that gets on the website, forceblueteam.org, like, share, and donate. And I'm looking forward to connecting with philanthropists like Leonardo DiCaprio and James Cameron, and have them help us as well. I have 20 teammates right now. We need another 200 in the next 5 years.
Wow.
And ultimately, we now have created a system with master divers where all veterans that have done their work to be open water scuba or advanced open water can come and do on-the-job training with us at any of our sites, so we can put them to work. And I learned this from Tom Davin.
Yep.
Scalability. Rudy, how can you scale it? And Tom at first was like, Rudy, there's no way you can scale this, when I first talked to him about it. But little engine that could, I just kept chugging at it and learning more and more. And by bringing in the right people and the right teammates and never losing focus of that mission, we'll find a way.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better mentor in Tom Davin.
That's right.
Recon Marine.
That's right, legend.
5'11" tactical CEO. And now with
Harvard Business School, I believe.
Yeah, Harvard Business School grad, and now the co-CEO of Black Rifle
and
Coffee
they're
Company.
exploding. They were already doing great. And, I know those cats.
He's helping
really
them scale.
Yeah, JT, very good friend of mine, and they're just boom. It's becoming quantum, and I was so thankful for having that mentorship by Rick Elder and Bert Soren of Sorenex, and these business folks who also, they employ families. They remind me a lot of your work when you are a freaking platoon commander, or you're the OPSO, or you're the freaking battalion commander. You're empowering men to fight their very best so they come home to their families. It's a real big daddy role, and I learned that from these leaders in business and these mentors, and then the art community. The first money we got for Force Blue was because of Ian Astbury, the lead singer of the Cult, which I idolized as a kid, and we are now very, very close. And he put me together with a lovely benefactor and the gentleman Richard McWhorter, who put it together. I'm learning from everybody. I would recommend also to our veteran community out there. I know we all got chips on our shoulders. I know. I got one too. My advice is expand those left and right lateral limits. You'll be surprised what kind of assets you can get, or what kind of assets you will attract and that you can employ for your mission. But try to expand those left and right lateral limits.
So you've mentioned a couple of brand partners too. I know
Mhm.
you're still doing a lot of work. You're modeling for companies.
Sure, that's
and
what pays my
you're-
bills:
yeah,
modeling and
you,
acting and advising. But all the rest of my work goes into Force Blue.
so who are you doing work with? Who are some of those brand partners that you're out
Yes.
there supporting and promoting and doing your thing and
Yeah,
flexing
thanks.
the big guns
Yeah,
for, man?
trying to. I have a beautiful bro, devil dog, David Wood. He is the CEO of Virtus clothing line. And we're out of Hong Kong, so I get to go to Hong Kong to work, and we travel all around the world doing rad stuff. And he brought me on simply because of my energy. He had been known me for some time, quasi through our communities, and he fought in Afghanistan as well. But he just saw always smiling and always positive, and he said, Rudy, I need that in my company. So he brought me on, and now I'm a designer, and I have equity, and I'm a partner, and now I'm learning manufacturing. So I've been working with Beyond and 511, and I got such an education with Beyond, especially because I work so close with Rick and Carlos and the team there. But I didn't know how difficult the clothing business is simply on manufacturing. I've learned so much from David. Because of that, I was approached by Spartan Race to teach and train their Spartan Race Agoge, which I'm doing a big Spartan Agoge in Namibia.
Oh, wow.
Last year I did Hong Kong, I did Sparta, Greece, I did Mongolia, and I will share some of the imagery and the film work out there. Magnificent stuff. Made me feel like Recon guy again, just freaking getting out there and engaging and immersing completely and being cold, tired, and hungry and driving on. We're going to be doing these all around the world. I asked if David could come on out for this Mongolia mission. We ended up saving lives. We saved many lives, and maybe the Spartan Race, as we know it, could have gone the other way if it was not for us. And now Virtus is doing the clothing and the outfitting for Spartan Race, which is quite a brand. Thank you, Joe DeSena. And then I've got Condition 1 from Matt DiMeo, fellow devil dog. Meal bar created by the need when he's fighting and deploying in Africa. The MREs were not cutting it. Yet, having good nutrition is not packaged in a way that makes it applicable for the field. So Condition 1, he's partnered with some folks from Kraft and looking at $1 million coming in to turn it into from a small business into a business. And our clients are the Chicago Bears, Gunnar Peterson, dear brother of mine, trainer of the Stars, and LA Lakers human performance coach, Bert Soren and all the family at Sorenex, Derek Woodsky, Brandon Lilly. I still stay in my wheelhouse of physical fitness and hoo-yah, outdoor, freaking gung-ho bullshit. I stay with what I love.
Good.
But wow, there's real leaders in those places that you can learn from, and I think it's just begun.
Man, you're involved in so many great things now, and we love that message we heard. You're out there seeking battle every day in a lot of arenas. And that's you, man. That's the essence of you from your childhood.
Yes.
You fought battles, you won battles,
That's
you
right.
took care of your brothers. Then you fought your battles in combat.
That's right.
And then you fought your own battle of personal struggle.
Yes, sir.
And you fought your way out of it. And you're seeking positive battles to win and
That's
fight,
right.
whether it's Force Blue and conservation. And I know there's new things developing there.
Sure.
And
There's some great stuff
yeah,
happening there, brother.
and now you've got this incredible entrepreneur mind
Yes.
that you're expanding and looking at opportunity as
Yes.
your battles.
Yes.
It's opportunity as battle.
Yes,
and
it
you're
is.
winning every day, brother.
Yeah, brother.
So it's
Yeah.
so good to
I know
reconnect
we've
with
come,
you, man.
we've come a long way yet. We've boiled back to our essence from the beginning. This is how
You're
we
just
were
doing
then.
it now.
That's right.
In different applications.
Yep,
so it's beautiful.
we're still always on mission. The battlefields change, TTPs may change, kit may change, but we are still we're still mission oriented, man. And Mission 43. Think of it, mission. And when we're riding our bike fast, you have equilibrium and you have balance. When you ride your motorcycle or bicycle slow, you wobble. So let us keep that momentum forward, and you will keep the equilibrium. And at nighttime, sure, it's scary. You turn on that light on your motorcycle or your bicycle. You can only see 40 or 50 feet ahead. That's fine. You can navigate the twists and turns. You have a light, but keep that momentum.
Yeah, so I think with that, Rudy, man, you've shared so much your personal story,
Thanks,
man.
man.
So appreciative of you coming here to Idaho and sharing this with us and reconnecting, and you're seeking your battle, and that's the message right there.
Yes,
I think
battle.
is everybody that listens to this, everybody we encounter at Mission 43, we tell them get out there, lead, learn, and inspire. And really, the subliminal message is seek battle, and win battle every day, man. I love it. So get out there, seek your battle, lead, learn, and inspire, and make a better life for yourself and those that you love and cherish.
That's right.
Thanks,
Amen
Rudy.
to that. Thank you, brother. It's incredible. And this has just begun because we're going to have a hell of a afternoon and evening too, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to ramp it up again tonight. Thanks, brother.